Are we the sum of our surroundings? Understanding the relationship between our core self and our learned behaviors fundamentally shapes the individual we become. This inquiry influences everything from how we portray ourselves to others, the relationships we form, the values we uphold, to the environments we choose and the legacies we leave behind. By recognizing that we are molded by what we expose ourselves to, that we are living collages of our influences, we gain the power to be intentional about our becoming. Conscious individuals make conscious choices about how they interact with their environment, their communities, and the broader ecosystem of human experience, better navigating the obstacles and formative pressures of life. The question of whether something essential exists beneath our adaptations determines whether we see ourselves as passive recipients of influence or active participants in our own construction. One's awareness to build oneself not only creates the individual, but ripples outward, influencing the children we raise, the communities we live, and how we relate to the web of existence itself. While we understandably become collages of our surroundings, absorbing impressions, behaviors, and ways of being from every environment and relationship we encounter, there appears to be something deeper that acts as both curator and canvas for these influences. This core self manifests not as a fixed identity, but as a consistently formable sculpture. Understanding this dynamic reveals that we are simultaneously products of our environment and active agents in our own becoming, with the power to consciously select which influences to integrate and which to resist. Is there a core self beneath all our learned behaviors, or are we entirely the sum of our adaptations? This question sits at the heart of what it means to be human, and the answer shapes everything. Is there a you that was born, or is it a you that becomes? We are our own humans with our own processes and patterns, but we are what we expose ourselves to. This isn't metaphorical, it's mechanical, observable, and undeniable. From the moment consciousness emerges, humans begin absorbing the world around them. The way a parent speaks becomes the internal voice. The emotional patterns witnessed in early relationships become the templates for future connections. The values demonstrated by the community become the framework for moral reasoning. The man who goes to church believes deeper and deeper, or strays further and further with each visit. The more we expose ourselves, the more we clarify or become clarified. We have a conflux of ability to allow influence but hold our own opinion. Yet not always do we make our decisions ourselves. Gospels that sound fruitful but are controlled by the reader and not the text. Characters that charm through wit but hold detrimental intention under their words. Here lies the danger behind influence. It is here that one's core self strays, by allowing another's hands to rewire their belief. We become living collages, composites of every repeated exposure, directional choice, and every environment that weaves its mark on our developing consciousness. Think about how this process unfolds. A child doesn't decide to adopt their family's accent. It happens through continued exposure. They don't consciously choose to mirror their caregiver's emotional responses to stress. They absorb the patterns within their world and internalize them as their normal. Personality, instincts, automatic responses, and even sense of humor can be traced back to specific influences that left impressions deep enough to become integrated into their operating system. The metaphor of a collage reveals something crucial about human nature. Just as a collage appears to be a unified image, but is actually composed of countless individual pieces, human identity appears unified, but is also constructed from countless pieces, amalgamating together with cracks and crevices, waiting to be filled. Here portrays our environmental determinism. If we are entirely the sum of our adaptations, if there's nothing beneath the learned behaviors, then why do different people exposed to similar environments develop differently? Why do siblings raised in the same household emerge with dramatically different personalities, values, and ways of engaging with the world? There seems to be something operating beneath the surface. Not a fixed identity or predetermined essence, but a kind of curatorial consciousness that selects which influences to integrate and which to resist. This core self doesn't appear as a collection of traits or characteristics. Instead, it manifests as a capacity for choice of meaning-making decisions that ourselves need to serve our individuality. Watch how this plays out in moments of significant decision. Someone faces a choice between what their conditioning suggests they should do and what something deeper recognizes as right. The learned behaviors push in one direction. Do what's expected, what's safe, what's been modeled. Yet another force evaluates against a different kind of knowing, a sense of alignment that predates the specific influences that shape their surface personality. This core self reveals itself most clearly in moments of genuine transformation. When someone fundamentally changes or recognizes their relationship to cyclical patterns, often ones that seemed inevitable given their conditioning, they choose the betterment of self. They choose to grow out of their surroundings and into themselves. Whether conscious or subconscious, a choice that transcends the sum of their adaptations. The influences and exposures provided the blueprint, but something deeper performs the construction. The natural world offers a useful parallel. A tree is shaped by its environment, soil conditions, weather patterns, available sunlight, surrounding vegetation. These influences determine its size, the direction of its growth, the thickness of its bark, the density of its wood. In one sense, all trees in a forest are alike, but in another, they are all truly unique. Instead of trying to change ourselves through willpower alone, we can change ourselves by changing our inputs. Through expanding our reach, especially ones that flow against our learned behaviors, we can grow to understand them deeper. By exposing ourselves to different models, ones beyond our current biases that only serve as confirmation, we understand and appreciate previous models better. It is the utilization of perspective that allows us to hold a firmer grasp to the truths of all systems and what our independent selves adhere to. But it also reveals the responsibility that comes with consciousness. If we have some capacity to choose among influences, then we bear some responsibility for who we become. Not complete responsibility, the environments we were exposed to early in life weren't chosen, but ongoing responsibility for the environments we continue to choose as awareness develops. The core self emerges not as a fixed thing, but as a dynamic capacity, the ability to be conscious of the construction process, to participate in it rather than simply be shaped by it. It's the awareness that can step back and observe the collage being created, that can recognize which pieces fit and which don't serve the whole, that can actively seek out influences that support growth rather than simply accepting what happens. We are simultaneously the sum of our adaptations and something more than that sum. The collage is real. We do become composites of our influences. But the artist creating the collage is also real, and that artist is the core self. More you grow,